Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Israel Temple Spiritual 52 Weeks Challenge with Reverend and Mrs. Freeman. We're glad to have you join us this morning. We're looking forward to uh, what God has in store for you today. We're looking forward what God has in store for all of us today. We pray and hope that your weekend was a blessed weekend, that everything went good for you. We pray and hope that this morning is a blessed morning for you and that you are seeing the glory of God and experiencing the glory of God in all of his splendor this morning. And we're not going to prolong the time. We're going to go into our uh, spiritual 52 weeks challenge. Our theme scripture, 1 John 4:4. For you are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. And we know that's our theme scripture for this spiritual 52 weeks challenge. We are bringing almost bringing it to a close. Uh, we have one more week of this spiritual 52 weeks challenge. We are on week 51, and we are uh, on this journey. We have praying and hoping that something that we have said and done through this spiritual 52 weeks challenge has been a blessing to whomever listened to it. And we just pray that this was something God laid on our heart to do. We do not know which way God is leading us in the near future with the pastor and the first lady broadcast, but we do know God is leading us and we're going to follow his direction. So stay in tune for that. We will keep you informed of what is the next thing God is leading us to do. But today we want to uh, give you another word to use this week. We challenge you with this word. I ask that you excuse me. I'm losing my voice. Between this weekend and yesterday, we had a powerful service yesterday, and this morning when I woke up, my voice is kind of ragged. But y'all just excuse my voice and the tone of the sound of my voice. Uh, please excuse me. But today, our word to challenge you with today is supportive. Supportive. So as we know, this word is as just like many other the words that we've used are simple words that we grew up on, uh, and that maybe we probably need to be reaffirmed in how to use them. So uh, I'm gonna ask my wife to come and give us the definition and what God is leading her to say with this word supportive.
Again, good morning. And the word supportive simply means providing encouragement or physical, spiritual, or emotional help. Be kind and helpful to someone at a difficult or unhappy time in their life. To give help or assistance in all forms of behavior. So definitely, we all know, I'm very sure we have all been uh, able to do this particular word at some point in time in our lives. We've been able to be supportive, maybe on your home front, within your home. If you have spouses, you've been able to be supportive to them. You have been able to be supportive to your family, your parents. We know that we have elderly parents. We are there to assist them in whatever role or fashion that we can at some point in time in our lives. We all know that if we have siblings or relatives of any sort. We always have tried to lend a helping hand to help them in any time or situation that they may need assistance, whether it be from coming to their home, helping them do something in their home, taking them to the doctor, taking them to appointments of any nature. This is being, this definition, supportive, providing that help when someone else is in the time of need or somebody else is going through something. We know that, when people lose loved ones, you show up, you call, you talk to them, you be there for them. That's being supportive. And when you have kids, you support them by being there for them, and letting them know if they're in a sport or so forth, you're there for them in that regards. So definitely, this is a word that needs no help with saying or anything, because this is all what we're supposed to do in life. We are supposed to be there for somebody else when they need us. Doesn't mean that you have to be there for them monetarily or financially. If they need that, then, do your best if you can to support them in that area. But just showing up for somebody, just letting somebody know that you're there. It can be being supported by lending a listening ear. Sometimes some people just need somebody to talk to. Some people just need to be able to vent sometimes. And that's all you can do, is sometimes just be there and just listen. So definitely we know that it doesn't take much to be supportive, to somebody. If somebody is going through a sickness, maybe taking them a meal to eat, just being there for them at some point in time. Definitely, we know that people are going through right now, and there are people out here that need help in one shape, form, or fashion. We all need some kind of supportive help, and then we have to make sure that when our kids are in school, we're supporting them. When they come home with homework or need help with doing certain different things, or if they're in sports, we're there to encourage them and cheer them on. So it just means being there, showing up, letting them know, hey, I am available. I am available to assist you in whatever form that you need assistance in. So definitely, to me, it just means showing up, being there, being physically there, being mentally there, and being spiritually there for somebody. So, we know that sometimes people may need us physically to lift a helping hand to do something. Sometimes people may need us emotionally, just listening, lending our ear, listening to them. And then sometimes lending those spiritual words of encouragement. And then sometimes they need us emotionally. They need that hug. They need that love. They need that smile to let them know that, hey, we're there for you. And then sometimes, like I said, they need that financial support. So definitely, it just means being there for someone.
Right. And for me, with everything that's been going on for the last 2 weeks in our life, everything that's been going on the last 2 weeks in our life, in our circle, from last Sunday to this present moment. Last Sunday we did as you know, the Red Table Talk at the church, and the subject was mental illness, and we talked about it. And God just wrestled with me all Monday night. I couldn't sleep, and He just kept wrestling with me. I got up and I said, well, let me write down what God is showing me. And I started to write, got up and I started writing it, and wound up writing 2 sermons, and was on the 3rd one when I realized, you know what, I got it, Lord, I got it. And God gave me, so Sunday I announced to the church that I'll be preaching a 3-part sermon on mental issues, mental illness and mental issues. So, and then today I when we pulled this word supportive, that's the first thing went to my head, because yesterday when I preached, I talked about the church. The church and the Christian faith, we have to be more supportive of people who are going through, people who have mental issues, people who have the mental illnesses of this world. We have to be supportive, and that supportive is not us just hiding behind prayer. You know, and I'm gonna say that again. As I said it yesterday, we as Christians, we as a church, we have the tendency to hide behind prayer. People come to us with mental illness and we say, oh, I'll pray about it. You know, and as I told the church yesterday, don't you think them folks been praying? I don't know not one person that woke up this morning and said, oh, I just want to be a schizophrenic. I just want to be a bipolar, and I just want it. It looks good. I just want it. No, I know people that are going through PTSD. They didn't grab that in the air and say, that's what I want. I want to have that behavior, PTSD. No. And they're praying, Lord, help me. But then they can't see their way through. And we as a church, we as a Christian faith, only thing we telling them is be strong, pray about it. They don't want to hear nothing about no prayer. You know, and when I say that, I people know me as a pastor now, and I say that to try to encourage people, stop using prayer as a shield to hide behind because you don't want to deal with people. You know, and you don't want to support people. You don't want to do your part. And the church, we have hidden behind prayer. We have hidden behind prayer because we don't want to deal with people. And we've done it so much that we got people, we feed into the mentality. Because we don't want to support them, we feed into the mental issues that they're going through. We feed that more than we feed them. Because what we say, we've got it now, even in churches, as I said yesterday. Most unchurched people feel they have to fix themselves up to come to church. And you know why is that? Because the church, we have made it in that mentality, don't come to church any kind of way. And I've heard it 1,000 times. Reverend, I don't have no clothes. And if all you have is some jeans and a t-shirt, I'd rather for you to come to church in your jeans and t-shirt. I don't care if you got one suit. You wear that suit every day. Somebody say something, you tell them, go buy me one. Yes. If you want me to wear a different suit, you bring me some clothes. Right now, that's all I have. So I'm coming to the Lord just as I am. But what we have done as a Christian faith, as a church, we have dropped the ball on being supportive. You're not supporting their habits. You're trying to support them to get out of their habits. Yes, yes. And we have thrown it all together when we know better. As a church, we know better. As a faith-based community, we know better. But what we do, we so tied up in what we want, new buildings, big salaries, and all of this, all these material things, that we've forgotten our purpose as being a church. Yes. And that is to support those who are lost to find their way back to God. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be supportive. As my wife said, support them physically, support them spiritually, support them emotionally, and if it be fit, support them financially. Now, one thing I thought about being supportive is being supportive doesn't mean that you give and don't teach along with it. Right. That's not being supportive. That's being a crutch. Mm-hmm. Being supportive is I'm going to give you what you need right now, but I'm also going to teach you how to handle it so it won't so you'll have it for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. See, and that's being supportive. So if somebody needs physical help, you're going to give them the physical help that they need, but at the same time, you're going to teach them how to use it for tomorrow. Right. If they need spiritual help, you're going to give them the spiritual help they need, but at the same time, you should be teaching because you're supporting them. I don't want to be your crutch. I want you to be able to stand on your own feet. So I'm going to support you now, and then I'm going to teach you how to be able to manage it and stand on your own feet, and then I can support you in that avenue. Yes. But I don't want to support you the same way for the next 10 years All thing you come in and getting from me, but yet you blowing it over there. That's not being supported. That's being a crutch. Mm-hmm. And the church, we have put it all in the basket, and we have failed to do our job. And when I talk about the church, I'm talking about myself too as a pastor. We have failed to do our job in supporting the people and teaching them how to sustain what you have implanted in them. That's what God, that is what God desires from us, to teach, to support, and to teach them how to sustain what you have given them, that support system that you've given them. Yeah. So we have to learn how to support. We got to get back to the basic, and we got to do what we know is right. You know, so when I thought about this word, I thought about, Lord, how you using me to speak on mental illness and the issues of mental illness. And I thought about it. This is a lot of people are going through, and they're afraid to open up. Why? Because they know people ain't gonna support them. They're gonna talk about them. They're gonna belittle them. So guess what? I'm gonna keep it all bogged in, and that ain't good. That's even worse. Now they can't talk. They don't feel comfortable sharing. They don't feel comfortable coming, because why? You're not gonna support me. You're gonna criticize me. You're gonna talk about me. Then you chastise me. Then you're gonna go out there and tell everybody my business negatively. So why should I come to you? You know, but we got to be supportive. As a faith-based people, we have to be supportive of people. I may not understand everything about mental illness, but I'm going to support those who are going through. I may not understand everything about PTSD, but I'm going to support those that I know that come to me and say, I got PTSD. Okay, well, explain that to me. What's going on? What is it that you can't handle, and maybe I can help you, and then we can work together. Right. So I'm learning. And that's the other part of being supportive. Not only just teaching, but you got to be willing to learn yourself of what they're going through. As I said yesterday, we cannot help people spiritually if we haven't addressed their physical distractions. A man hungry, he don't want to hear nothing about no prayer. A man hungry don't want to hear nothing about when his stomach touching his back. He don't want to hear nothing about the Lord will make a way out of no way. He don't want to hear that. Especially when you on your way to McDonald's to get you a burger and he's standing there hungry. You got to meet their physical distractions. And right now he's distracted by hunger. Let me address that first. Then I can tell him, when we get the food, before you put it in your mouth, let's thank God. See, that's how you minister to people. That's how you support people. You know, so we got to do better as a people in supporting, especially people who are going through, and they are locked up spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially. They're locked up in their isms of defeat. And you and I, we just going about our business. Well, it ain't me. It may not be you today. Yes. But I pray and hope it never will be you, but it may not be you today, but it could be you tomorrow. It may not be me today, but it could be me tomorrow. Yes, yes. You know, so we got to do better in supporting people. Being supportive. And like I said, being supportive is not you being the crutch. Being supportive is you being there for them at that time, and then sowing a seed in them, teaching them, and learning yourself of what they're going through. So why? You can help yourself and help them to be a better person. That's what being supportive is all about. I have 8 things 8 supportive behaviors to have. That is, when I looked at them, I said, well, that's it right there. That's what we need. 8 supportive things to have. And I'm gonna ask my wife if she would go over them. And we'll just tag team and talk about these 8 supportive things, these 8 supportive behaviors that we should have as believers, as children of God. We should have these 8 behaviors.
The first one is collaborate.
And on that collaborate, when I was reading it, it says collaborate. You cannot do everything yourself.
That's true.
If you can't do everything yourself. God didn't create us that way. God created us to be a part of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes us working together, collaborating.
Yeah, it's the body coming together. The second one is help and assist, which should explain itself.
Right.
Got to be able to be helpful, got to be able to assist someone else other than yourself all the time.
Right.
3, empathize.
Empathize. And when I thought about that word, I know for me, when I read it, it's if you can't feel other people's pain, then this is what the writer was talking about, feeling other people's pain. Not saying that you may not understand it. You may not understand how they got there. You may not understand why they feel that way, but you ought to have enough empathy in you to see the hurt and where they want to be, what they want to have, and they just can't get there. They just keep hitting the wall. Well, I ought to be, you know what I'm saying? I may not understand how you got there because my lifestyle is totally different than yours. That's normal. But I ought to be able to have some empathy.
Mm-hmm. 4, recognize others' value. We all have value within ourselves. As my husband said, we're all different. So we all may have something different within us that, is valuable,
Right,
that we have. But you got to recognize other people's value. Some things, and it goes back to collaborating. Some things you may not be able to do, somebody else can do. So value what they can do, and use that. Don't always think that you got to do everything because this is what you know how to do. Mm-hmm. We don't all know everything. So when you got to value somebody else's craft that they know, you got to value somebody else's opinion about something. Don't be so toned into just what you value, and it's all about you. Recognize others' value, because we all have something in us that we can pull from.
Mm-hmm.
You can pull from somebody else. So, you got to recognize that and value that.
Right.
5, recognize others' goals and interests.
How often do you listen to other people's goals and their interests? People who are going through, people who are trying to get somewhere, people who set goals for themselves. They set goals. We all set goals, and we all have interests. Mm-hmm. But guess what? Deep down inside, I know in order for me to reach my goal, I gotta have some support. I gotta have some people that'll support me and telling me and encouraging me, and then I have to be able to share my goal with them. I have to be able to share my interest with them, knowing that they're not going to sabotage, but they're going to pray me up. They're going to cheer me on. The scripture says, run your race, because we have a great cloud of witnesses in the stand rooting on for us. So I need that support. I need to hear that support. When I thought about that, I thought about me and my wife. We're coaching. We're always coaching, but we're coaching track now. And I told the kids Saturday, we had our first meet. And I told the kids, I said, look, this is your first meet. Other teams they may have had 1 or 2 or 3. This may be their third meet. But don't you look at them when you run. Only thing I want you to do, I want you to look straight. And I told them, I said, look straight, but keep your ears on the crowd. I said, and when they cheer, you run faster. I said, you use that as your motivation. I said, don't look up in the crowd, but you hear them. Now most of them, they might be cheering for another child. They might call that child's name. But if they call that child's name and then you think that that's the child that's in front of you, you use it as a motivation to strikeify you to run a little bit harder. So he ain't gonna be the only one getting cheered. Because while they cheer him, I'm taking their cheers for myself. Use the cheers of the crowd. And most of the kids, that's what they did. That's what we have to do in life. We have to use the cheers of the crowd so that we can reach our goal. And we got to have the behavior of recognizing others people's goals and interests so that we can help them reach their goals and interests.
Yes. And then this number 6, listen. Sometimes we like to do a lot of talking. Sometimes we just need to hush, be quiet, and listen. Listen to what somebody else has to say.
Yes.
We all have a voice, and that goes back. My husband was talking about mental illness.
Yes.
Sometimes you just got to listen to what somebody else is going through. You got to listen to their story. We all have a story.
Yes.
So we got to be able to listen to somebody else's story. We all have different, we all may come to the same end point, but we all have a different walk,
right,
and a way of getting there.
Right.
So if somebody else is going through, we just need to listen. Sometimes it doesn't mean that you got to talk and tell your opinion, give some advice. Sometimes somebody just needs somebody to listen so that weight can be lifted off their shoulders.
Yes,
so they can feel free. And I don't think sometimes we do that enough is listen. I know sometimes I don't. Sometimes I always think I got to talk and tell somebody and try to help them. But sometimes listening is helping. Just being quiet and being present in that moment with them and letting them be able to share what's on their heart and what's burdening them down and what's holding them down. And when you listen, that tension, that stress, it's being relieved for them because they may not be able to share with others. And sometimes you just got to lend that support and be there to listen.
Yes.
And that's it.
And what I've learned as a pastor, what I've learned as a barber, what I learned is that when we listen to people, a lot of times they've already in their conversation spoken the answer, but they didn't hear it themselves. So if you're listening and not speaking, you can turn around and tell them, you said the answer. And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. You said it when you was talking. This is what you said. So I think you need to think about that. And you know what I'm saying? But I've learned that. I've learned because I listen, people able to share, they're able to let it all out. And in the middle of it, the answer is right there while they're pouring it out. Yes. And I'm like, Lord, I ain't have to say too much. They said it themselves. It's right there. They just didn't see it. Right. So listen.
7, give positive feedback.
Oh Lord, please. It's enough negative stuff going on around here. Be supportive, give positive feedback. Even when somebody is in the wrong. My grandmama would always, even if you was in the wrong, she made you feel like you was in the right. But why? Because the way she responded to you and the way she would give you positive feedback, even when you was in the wrong, she might have said, well, baby, I don't understand why you're doing it that way. But if it was me, I would do it this way. Or have you ever thought about doing it this way? She had a way of giving you positive feedback where you would be, when she leave the room, you be like, I ain't think about that. I think I might need to go back to the drawing board on this. She didn't try to sabotage your dreams or sabotage what she just would say, well, I never thought about it that way because the way I thought about it was this right here. Or have you ever thought about doing it this way? Maybe this will work. If that don't work, try it this way. And she would throw it out there. So that way you'll know, okay, I got another plan just in case. I'm gonna try my plan, but if it don't work, grandmama just gave me a plan B. So you know what I'm saying? So she was giving you positive feedback. And a lot of times what we do, you don't need to do that, and then we shut up.
Right. We don't give any
We don't give them nothing why they don't need to do. We don't give them no other. We just stick, we tear down, and then we don't help them to build something up.
Yes.
So this is what this writer meant. He said, give positive feedback. If you're gonna break down somebody's dream, you ought to be able to have some solutions to get them back to where they want to go. But just don't tear down folks. Nah, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Why? And then they ask you why. No, you just don't need to do it. That's wrong. That's wrong. Well, then show me how to get to the on path, on the right path. So give positive feedback.
Because, and to piggyback on that, even though we sometimes go down the same path as somebody else, it's okay to share. If you had a setback and you had a stumble, share that with the other person so that they don't have to go through that. So, give them that information, give them that feedback so that they don't have to go down the path that you went down.
Right, right.
And then 8, create positive exchanges.
Create positive exchanges. When I read that, I said, okay, what do you mean by that? He shared how he said a positive exchange is when you leave that person's presence, they feel better than before you came in their presence.
Yes.
And that's what we should be striving for in all things. That's what we should, that when the person may have been down when they came to me or when I came to them, now that I'm leaving, they're motivated, they're encouraged to fight, they're encouraged to run, they're encouraged to reach their dreams. Why? Because they know at least Reverend Freeman support me. You know what I'm saying? He gave me some support spiritually, or he gave me some physical support. He gave me some emotional support. You know what I'm saying? And they feel better.
Yes.
They look at themselves and say, you know what? I can do this. Or even if they had to go back to the drawing board, you know what? I ain't think about it that way. I need to go back to the drawing board, revamp myself, but I'm still going to reach my goal. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all, it's that they feel better.
Yes.
Than when, if they wouldn't have came in contact with you, they probably would have threw in the towel. But because they came across your path, they feel better now that they, you know what? Even if I fail, I got another answer because, Sister Freeman gave me another avenue that I can take if this don't work out. You know what I'm saying? They feel better about it.
Yes.
And
so, and on that as well, be okay to share the resources and the tools that you might have used to get to where you need to get to.
Oh, yes.
And I think we don't do that enough, with that create positive exchanges.
Yes.
We don't share enough, with somebody else of how we got to where we are.
Yes.
And that's the same thing with being a mentor to kids. You got to share what you know. You got to share that journey that you had to take. You got to share that knowledge and that wisdom and that understanding that they need to get to that next level.
Right.
And kids in school this day and time, there is not enough support, I don't believe. Even though your parents support you, your family supports you, they need also that outside support. They need more family support.
Yes.
They need more adults in the community. Back in the day, like we all know, it was not just your parents getting onto you. If you saw parents in the community or you saw other church members, you knew you better walk a straight and narrow path because they were going to get onto you if they saw you going outside the norm, and then they was going to go back and tell your parents. We don't have enough of that today because unfortunately, some parents have taught their kids, can't nobody else tell you what to do. I'm the only one can tell you what to do. So we have to make sure as a community, we let other people, other parents, and we let people know that we're there for them.
Right.
With us being coaches, to me, that's what it's all about, supporting these kids. We may not be their parents, but we're their coaches. And so if we can lend them some support, if we can tell them, hey, try to do it this way. You may can get a little bit more time. You may can do it a little bit better. Share that knowledge, that understanding, and that wisdom, whether they think they know it or not. Be there to share it. Be there to give them some encouraging and good feedback and advice about things because they need it. You know, we have some that run up to us all the time. One ran up to me Saturday and she was like, before her event, Coach, I just need a hug. You know, and to me, that let me know that she just needed that support to be able to say, I got this. You know, she needed that words and that love to show that I got this. You know, she could have ran to her mom to do that, but she chose me. She chose me to come up to it. And others did the same thing. Coach, I don't know about this. You got it. You can do it.
Yes.
And, you know, I caught myself, I was telling my husband, I caught myself even in encouraging other kids that I had no clue who they were and what school they were from. But when they were at the event that I was at that moment, you can do this. I know you can do a little, you know, you can throw it a little farther than what you did in the softball throw. You got this. You can do it. It's just us out here as God's children and as God's flock, just lending those words, lending our time, lending our voices, lending that, well, like I said, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and if it comes to financially, if you can, then we just got to be there. We just have to show up, lend those encouraging words, and be able to be in the moment and be present to see who needs us at that current time and moment.
Right. You know, and being supported, I mean, it's just, as my wife said, Saturday, one of the young ladies that we coach, she came running to me because she know I've been on her, and she came to me. She said, Coach, she said, I placed fourth, and she placed fourth or fifth out of 8 kids, and normally at practice she'd be last, and she placed fourth or fifth in her heat out of 8 kids. She said, and Coach, I bent my knee. I said, yeah, baby, you bent your knee, but you got 2 knees. I need you to bend both of them because she like to run and drag her foot sometimes. And she started laughing. She said, oh, Coach, but I came fourth. I said, yeah, baby, you came fourth. And I said, give me a high five. She gave me a high five. And her mama, she said, oh, Lord, I ain't going to be able to sleep tonight because, Lord, she just happy. I said, well, that's what we want. I said, that's what I want. Because she came running to me after the event. And I saw her and she said, Coach, did you see me? I came in fourth. I said, yes, you did, baby. She said, and I bent my knee. I said, yeah, but you got 2 knees. I need you to bend both of them. You might have would have came in first. And she said, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it next time, Coach. But it was just that support system. And then afterwards, you know, when her mom said that, then her mom, when they got ready to leave, her mom said, Coach, I want to thank you and all the coaches. Thank y'all so much for what y'all doing in these kids' lives. And that right there meant all the world to me. That, you know, we're just doing what God has called us to do, you know, to be a seed, to be there for those kids, you know. And when they're facing with challenges, don't be afraid to share your challenges with people. Don't be afraid. My wife was talking earlier and that hit me in my head. Don't be afraid to share your challenge. I share Sunday, I share one of the great challenges God brought me through. I shared my challenge with the congregation that he brought me through. Because you know, there was some time in my life when I was 10, 11 years old, I thought I was crazy. I thought I was, because I was having seizures and the best way I can explain it, you know, on the outside, everybody, my mom and everybody told me I'm having convulsions, but on the inside, I was fighting the devil. I mean, I was literally in a room fighting the devil. Me and the devil was fighting. And I'm trying to get out because I don't want to be. He's telling me I got the key. I got the key. You can't get out. And me and him, and I'm chasing him and fighting, trying to get the key so I can get out that room. See, and that's the doctor. You know, that's mental. But if you ain't never been there, you don't understand. You can't understand it. But I had a support system. I had parents that supported me. My family supported me. Aunts and uncles, cousins. They, you know, even when I spent the night with my other cousin, me and him both had seizures. His mom, Aunt Frances, she would say, hey there, I got him tonight. You go home and sleep. I got him tonight. You know, and then we was both seeing the same doctors, you know, so it was that support system that we were there, you know, and I had it from church people, that support system, you know, that, you know what, they just didn't tell my mama, God gonna make a way. What can we do? What you want from us? And, you know, and left that door open for my mom and dad to be able to say, look, can y'all take him to the doctor today? Or can y'all, you know what I'm saying, we got to work, but I don't want to change his appointment. You know what I'm saying? I got him. Just bring him. I pick him up from school and I take him. Stuff like that. People, that's support. That's that support system. You got to have it. People need it.
Mhm.
And I guarantee you, if we start doing what we're supposed to do in supporting people and being supportive, we'll see the mental issues start to decline in America. But what we have done, we have helped it to increase because we have taken on the attitude, everybody for himself and God for us all. And that's not what God desires.
Mhm.
You're not in this world by yourself.
No.
And God is for us all, but he is for us all to be what? Helpful and supportive of each other.
Right.
You're not in it alone, no matter what you're going through. If it's a broken relationship, you're not in it alone. You got a support system. If it's unemployment, you're not in it alone. You got a support system. If it's mental illness, you're not in it alone. You have a support system. Whatever it is, we're here today to tell you, as the pastor and first lady of Israel Temple, you have a support system.
Yes.
If you can't get to your church, you can always know that you can inbox us and we'll do our best to share God's love and support with you.
Yes.
You have a support system. You're not in this world. You're not fighting these issues alone. Because when it's all said and done, I guarantee you, if you just take the time, you'll see God's hand.
Mhm.
If you just take the time, don't focus so much on the distractions that are trying to attack you. You'll see God's hand
Yes.
holding you and
Yes.
sustaining you. What you gonna do with it?
Mhm.
And then as we who have been delivered, we can't be afraid to share our testimony, how God delivered us.
Yes.
Because that really supports other people. That really gives support to other people, letting them know if God did it for me, he can do it for you.
Mhm.
The same God. All you gotta do is just continue to just stay focused, stay positive. You know what I'm saying? Surround yourself. Do small things. As we talked, I think some weeks ago, it's the small stuff. Take them little small steps
Mhm.
and deliverance will come.
Yes.
I believe that. So we thank you for listening to us this morning. We know we probably went a little over, but as I said, this word is a word that we don't use in it like we should. We want to start and challenge you to use it this week. Support it. Find the way that you can be supportive to someone, whether it be physical, spiritual, emotional, or financial. Find a way that you can be supportive. And when they call you and they ask you, and somebody sees something in you to come to you, if somebody sees something in you to come to you for help, know that that's God shining in you.
Yes.
So don't abuse that. Help them through the grace of God. You be their Bible. You be their church. You be their spiritual resource. That's the best way I can explain it. Support it. Let's be supportive.
Yes.
Anything else you want to say?
No.
Well, we're going to leave you with our challenge saying that we always say, and that is challenge yourself to be better, because if you don't, who will? We love y'all. Go forth, support,
Yes.
be
Yes.
that support system. Collaborate, help, assist, empathize, recognize other people's value, recognize other people's goals and interests, listen, give positive feedback, and create positive exchange. Do those things and watch
Yes.
watch
Yes.
people begin to be delivered from whatever they're going through. God bless you. God
Yes.
bless you.
Have a great week.
Have a great week.